Y'all see my Christmas tree in the back?
Let's go!
Hey, hello, how you doing? How you feeling? My name's Phalafel. So I asked on my Instagram at Phalafel Cosplays if you don't follow me there. Cause why not? Anyways, I opened up in my Instagram story a general cosplay Q&A. I said y'all can ask me whatever you want. And I'll make a YouTube video. Because I'm trying to make more YouTube videos. Bear with me. You know, matter of fact, while we're taking this time, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, go ahead. If you're watching this and you want more, hit a like. I'm trying to see something. I asked on Instagram, what are your cosplay questions? I will try my best to answer. Got a lot of questions in, so I'll be taking a handful. Maybe we'll do more of these in the future. Some of these I will be making their own videos for. There's one particularly about cosplay makeup. That's better probably shown than it. You see how dirty my glasses are? That's probably better demonstrated than me kind of speaking it. You want a practical. You don't want a lecture. But for now, let's get through a few of these questions, y'all. Also, hi, if you're new here, my name's Phalafel. I've been cosplaying for 5 years now. I make all of my costumes, sewing, armor working, foam working, prop making, wig making, and the like. Cosplay budgeting and planning is the first one. This has taken a lot of trial and error through the years, but I've come up with a pretty nice system that I like now. When I pick a new cosplay, like let's say right now I'm working on King Dedede, his Forgotten Lands Kirby skin. After sketching out my full concept, so I will draw out every piece as well as just general overall design of what things will look like. I break down a list of materials to not only plan out the timeline of what it will take to make each thing, but also to plan out the budget. After I have each piece plotted out, so for example with King Dedede specifically, I need a dress of some sort, his like fur jacket with all of the notions, so the lining, the feathers that are inside the lining, all these kinds of things, the hammer, his helmet, his belt. When you break down all of the components of your cosplay, that's when I break those further down into the materials I would need. If you are a cosplay hoarder, like I am, it seems tedious to comb through all the stuff that you already have, or you may think, oh, I definitely know I have. No, go through all the stuff that you have currently, all the leftover fabrics, all of the different little materials and notions in a zipper that you bought 3 years ago that didn't fit the thing that you needed, but you kept it anyways. Go through all those things, because that will be a good bulk of how you save your money. Going through things that you can reuse from other pieces of clothing, from other cosplay, from other props and things like that. Reuse those first to save money for the things that you still need to make. In terms of budget, I really compare between a lot of different vendors for certain materials. So fabrics, I try to look through online stores as well as Joann's to see quality, quantity, and like pricing, what's best for the project I'm working on. Same with foam. So there's a couple of EVA foam dealers that I really like between Cosplay Supplies, TNT Cosplay Supplies, but comparing prices that way. I'm a spreadsheet person. I type everything out like a formal budget. Learning how to pattern yourself will also save you a lot of money in the long run. If you are new and you're buying like Simplicity or McCall patterns and things like that, they're very helpful for learning. Very helpful learning tools. Can be very expensive if they're not already on sale. Sometimes occasionally Joann's will do like a 99-cent pattern sale occasionally. I don't know if they still do it. Might have been a while. But one of the most cost-saving things I've learned is taking like videos and tutorials online on how to pattern things to your own body. Be it if you still use the saran wrap duct tape method, where you wrap yourself up, like if you're making like a gauntlet, let's say, you wrap your arm up in saran wrap, then you wrap it with duct tape, draw on it with Sharpie to get the pattern lines, you cut it off, and then that's your pattern. Or formally like doing measurements to math, it's very helpful in the long run in terms of budget to make your own patterns. A lot of your favorite cosplay crafters, cosplay artists, people who are making their own costumes will probably have affiliate codes for materials that you need. things from paint to foam to fabric, check them out and see if they do. And then you're also helping out an artist. Cosplay does not have to be expensive. I've seen people make entire costumes out of cardboard and macaroni. You can literally turn anything into a proper costume piece. Hope that helps. Excel will be your friend. Or Google Sheets. Question. Wigs and makeup, that will be a video. How did you develop the creative juices for this? I don't know. I've been painting and crafting and molding and arting since I was a kid. So I've always been interested in art. It just happened that cosplay was the perfect thing to meld all of my art interests into one. Good old cosplay potluck, you know what I mean? Okay, patterning. I touched on this a little bit with the budgeting question. There are a lot of YouTube tutorials on making your own bodice block, making your own skirt and dress patterns, making your own corset patterns. There's also a couple of website resources that I've used before for sewing pattern resources, so you can learn how to make your own patterns based off your measurements. I'll put those in the description. In terms of armor, when I started making my own armor patterns, it was trial and error based off of shapes, essentially. I did computer-aided designing and drafting in high school. I went to a trade high school. I got very good at looking at a shape and breaking down the components of a 3D shape into a 2D. Breaking down three-dimensional shapes into two-dimensional plane. I use a lot of trial and error. Again, you can also use the saran wrap and duct tape method. When it comes to things like my chest plates, a lot of those patterns are very similar to corset patterns. So if you have corseting patterns around, I've applied the same principles and the same shapes from the corset panels to foam. And that's how I get the curvature and shape of my chest plates and breastplates like to my body. Another thing, if you're thinking more of props, I started using Blender and Pepakura for my props and accessories. Blender is a free 3D modeling program. There are lots of Blender tutorials on YouTube as well. Also, I have that AutoCAD background from high school. Essentially, I would take a lot of reference pictures from whatever I was building, adding it to Blender, building the prop or the accessory as a 3D model, and then porting that into Pepakura, which will turn it into a kind of like unfolded 2D pattern. And then I print out the Pepakura file and then apply it more smoothly onto paper. It's like polyagonal in Pepakura. I just like smooth out the shapes and clean them up IRL. I'll be posting a video on how I did this for the King DDD hammer. It's a pretty big. Y'all didn't see that. It's a pretty big.
Oh my god.
I'll post a video on how I used those two programs to make that, but that's what I'm using currently for most of my patterning. Also, save every pattern that you ever make in your life, because whether or not you're like, I'm never gonna make this thing again, you will make something like it. You will make something close enough that it'll save you the time and pain of remaking that pattern. Save them all. I have a binder filled with all of my patterns. Patterns I've purchased, patterns that I've made myself and labeled here. This is one of 3. What's the most you've spent crafting any cosplay piece? I don't think I've spent more than $300 in general. 300 is popping up specifically because I'm thinking of Calamity Ganon, which had a lot of LEDs in it. So that one alone, I think for the Arduino, the wiring, and the LEDs, I think that was a cost of upwards of around 300. I don't think I've spent beyond that on a costume. I will admit, I'm very fortunate to have been sponsored by wonderful companies like Plaid Effects, like cosplaysupplies.com. So a lot of my materials, especially for my armor, have been gifted, so that is a saved expense. Very fortunate, very privileged in that fact. But for the most part, things that cost me the most money are usually fabric and like fancy extras. So the LEDs in that case. It's pricey. $300 is a lot of money. I don't think I've gone past that though. Have you ever considered doing more body paint cosplays? No. Is there a more or less expensive alternative? I'm going to be completely honest. Much love to body painters because I hate it. I hate it. It's a long process. It takes forever to get an even coat on your skin. If you don't properly seal it, then you're getting paint everywhere. Your background looks dusted after you clean everything off. I hate it. I don't necessarily know if this is less expensive, but more efficient in my opinion. You can get full colored bodysuits now. I've seen cosplayers make their own bodysuits out of like dyed tights, dyed fabric that you just match your face paint to. We Love Colors is a company that makes these bodysuits as well in a variety of shades. They make socks, they make gloves, they make I think they make full body ones as well. Yeah, tight socks, like knee high, thigh high. They also make dyes that you can make your own. They'll have the fingers done so it looks like your hands. That seems way more efficient to me than painting your whole body. Cleaner, easier, and then you just color match your face paint to the body paint. But I'm not doing all that. It would have to be a very particular or special reason for me to get it all in body paint. Do you ever get stuck trying to figure stuff out all the time? Some things click, I look at it and I'm like, oh, I know how to make that. Boom, 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 boom. Some things it takes a second. I might have to research and look up some references or different techniques or stuff like that. Some stuff I am stuck and procrastinate until it comes to a point where I have to get it over with, and then it comes together eventually. A lot of trial and error, more so on the error part. That's fine because that's part of the learning process. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and the moment that you accept that those mistakes are fine because you're learning, everything's all right. Right? I get stuck all the time. Not as much as I used to when I first started cosplaying, but still certainly it happens. Where do you get your materials from? A variety of places. Ooh, there's a lot. For fabric, if I'm in a quick pinch, I will just go to Joann. It's close by me. I can usually find something to work with there. If I have some time to order and get swatches and stuff, sometimes Etsy, I'll search for fabrics, mood fabrics, minted. Fabrics.com I think ended, but they got bought out by Amazon, so sometimes I'll look up for fabrics there. Foam and foam accessories, so foam clay, EVA foam, trims, things like that. Usually between TNT Cosplay Supply and cosplaysupplies.com. I just got SKS props foam for the first time and I actually really enjoy it, so I might buy from them as well, but TNT is usually my go-to. Warbler is usually warbler.com, which is the same as cosplaysupplies.com. Home Depot is where I get a lot of my primers and glues from, so contact cement, Plasti Dip. If I need a specific metallics, I get a lot of the Rust-Oleum ones from Home Depot as well. Or textured spray paint I use sometimes too. A paint usually from a Michaels or Joann as well. If it's something pretty specific, maybe Amazon or something like that. Let's do one more. What's the best cosplay you've made in your opinion and why? Oh, I'll say the best experience I have had with a cosplay and the turnout being exactly what I wanted was my Noelle cosplay from Genshin Impact. There are a few imperfections in the design itself. The dress is too short. That was just a math error. But the experience of making that cosplay was during a very difficult and emotional point in my life, which made what should have been a 2-month project at most turn into 10. I've always found diving into my art very cathartic and a way for me to really process a lot of my deeper emotions ever since I was a kid. And there was something about working on that costume that was so incredibly frustrating, so tumultuous, so devastating at some points, but so fantastically rewarding when it was finished and looked the way I envisioned it to. Technically, by technicality, Ocarina of Time Ganondorf. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But overall cosplay experience, Noelle. That one's my best. Also Third Rossetti. That was just funny. That was just a quick round of a few questions from Instagram. I'll probably do these more often. Just fun Q&As to get to talk to y'all a little bit more, talk about cosplay more. I will be doing a video on wigs as well as a video on makeup and how I approach cosplay makeup and working with wigs. I got y'all, I swear, I promise. The King DDD hammer video is also coming soon, which there will be matching patterns for that hammer available on Ko-fi as well. You can follow me on there. I post a lot of progress pictures on Ko-fi, updates for certain cosplay projects we're working on. Just hit the Morgan goal for Darkstalkers cosplay / stream. I also stream on Twitch, if you didn't know that, 3 times a week. Come hang out, it's a good time. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. I'll see you later. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you, bye.